Hello guys, welcome to the third episode in the first series of video podcasts by myself, PGA professional Daniel Hartley. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. Now, as mentioned last week, what we are going to be looking at this week is ball position. Now, a key fundamental area for you to hitting your target. So let's jump straight in, give it a go.
With ball position, now what I want you to understand first of all is if we take a look at lesson one. Now what we understood in lesson one was that the golf club opens and closes. Now the significance of the ball position is this is where a lot of golfers can actually get it wrong. Now you can have a really good swing, you can really work with your hands and you can really work with the club, and if this ball position is slightly out, that can determine you missing your target 10-15 yards to the left or 10-15 yards to the right. So what we've got to do is, most coaches will work with their golfer's swing, but 9 times out of 10, if we're going to start from scratch, as it is the golf breakdown from myself, what we're looking to do is to get that as fundamentally correct as possible. Now, as you can see, I've got 3 balls in front. Now, as we mentioned in the stance and the posture episode, we have our feet shoulder width. Now this is right through the bag for all of the full shots. Now the club that I've got in my hand at the moment is a 7-iron. Now what we want to do is take a look first of all at the difference in ball position. Now as you can see, there's a ball right in the centre of my feet, okay? There's one just in front and there's one just in front of that. So the ball that's in the middle, what's key for us to understand here is the irons that should be placed from here. All this is full shots, by the way, guys. In the second series of podcasts, I'm going to work on short game, so just keep in mind that this is just full shots, so let's keep it simple. So for this middle position, what we have got is, for the length and the loft of our clubs, this is where our golf club hits square to our target. Now as you know from our first episode, the golf club does open and close. So that's clarified. What I want you to understand is, as mentioned, the golf club never stays straight. The way these are designed to turn and release through impact. That's where we hit the ball, okay? So this first position, what I've got in my hand now is my 7-iron. Now as you can see, my 7-iron ball position sits right in the middle. Now for this club and for the other clubs, this is perfect for us to work on our hands and work on our release. So if we open and close our hands perfectly, as we did in episode 1, what you will find is you will get a nice straight ball flight. Now, it does determine on the direction we swing the club, which we're going to work on later on in episodes 5 and 6. But if you can sort of get these fundamentally correct, that is what's key for ball position. Now, the first position here, right in the centre, is your 6-iron right through to your sand wedge. So to keep that simple, it's your 6-iron, 7, 8, 9, pitching wedge, sand wedge, and if you like hitting a full lob wedge, you've got to place that in the middle. Because what this allows is, it doesn't just allow the club to hit a nice square impact as we're coming through, it also allows us to have the correct angle of attack. Now the correct angle of attack is the direction the club is coming into the ball, okay? So as you can see, the arrow here that comes straight into that ball is as just driving into the back of it. Now the second position here again is for our 5-iron, 4-iron, 3-iron and any rescue club. Now the reason why it is a little bit further forward is because this angle of attack needs to be a little shallower, so it's not as steep with our 6-iron through to sand wedge. It needs to be a little shallower, so a little lower on the way through, as you can see by the arrow I've just drawn. Now the other reason of why it's a little bit further forward is because the longer this golf club is, now this is my 5-iron, my 5-iron is an inch or so longer than my 7-iron, the longer it takes for this golf club to square to my target, to be right directed at where I'm hitting. So in theory, as I've just mentioned, with the club being longer and having less loft, it takes a little bit longer to square up. So you've got your rescue clubs, your 3, your 4 and your 5 iron. Now let's move on to the driver and the 3 wood. Now, when it comes to the driver, as I've just briefly spoke about the steepness of the golf swing, with the 6 iron and with the wedges we want to be hitting down, which is why this centre ball position is perfect. And with the 3, the 4, the 5 iron, the rescue clubs, it needs to be a little shallower, so we don't want that as much downward motion. Now with the driver, the reason why the driver sits just off the inside heel, now the reason why I say just off the inside heel is because some golfers are a little bit more comfortable with the feet open, some golfers are more comfortable with the feet nice and straight. Whichever is preference for you guys, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure that this ball position here is right on the inside of your heel. So as mentioned with the longer stuff, the longer the club, the longer it takes for the golf club to square off to target. So with your lower clubs, it doesn't take as long. Now, with the driver having little loft, 9, 10, 11 degrees, this also needs an even shallower angle. So as you can see now, the arrow I've drawn on the screen is a lot lower. Now, as you can see, the ball position is further forward. I'm still sort of weighted here, but this will help me hit up the ball and get some nice height. Whereas, as you can see with my 7 iron before, we want to be hitting down on the ball. What I'm just going to do, guys, is basically I've stuck a tee to my 6 iron. Now, the main reason why this is very important to get the ball position correct is because if I've got my 6 iron, it should be in the centre. As you can see here, that tee is pointing directly to my target. Now, as I swing back and swing through, if my ball position is too far back, that tee is pointing off to the right. And if we were to start hitting the ball in the 2nd and 3rd position, as you can see, the club face is shut and the tee is pointing off to the left. So it's very important that we get this ball position right, because if I was hitting all my shots off to the left, I could be swinging it perfectly and it'd just be the ball position that was just out. So just remember, you've got your 6 iron through to your sand wedge, 3, 4, 5 iron and your rescue, and then your driver and your 3 wood just off to the front. So that's ball position, guys. Any questions, any queries, anything you'd like me to go through again, just drop me an email, a text or comment on the video below. Please like, share and ask me anything you would like with regards to ball position. Thank you for tuning in to my 3rd episode in my 1st series. Now, what we're going to look at in our next episode is really take a look at rotation on how we can use the hips and the shoulders and really make sure we use as much of our weight as possible. So don't forget to hit the subscribe and thank you very much.